Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese, is a classic, quintessential movie that explores the feeling of loneliness in the modern world. It looks at how men were feeling lost during a time when they didn't know what to do with their lives. The main character, Travis, drives a taxi in New York City, and the movie shows us his tough and disconnected life. In this video, we delve into the depths of the legendary character of Travis Bickle, unraveling his background, philosophy, and transformative journey throughout the film. The movie starts with a strange scene where Travis is driving his taxi through smoke. This sets a mysterious mood. Travis is trying to get a job as a taxi driver, and he has trouble sleeping at night. He's even told to visit an adult theater, which shows how grim and dark New York City is. Travis gets the job because he used to be in the Marines, but it also shows how he is isolated and troubled, just like the city itself. Travis's apartment is dirty and reflects the decay of New York City. He writes in his diary saying bad things about the people he drives in his taxi. This shows how much he dislikes his passengers and thinks the city is getting worse. Travis feels very alone and lost because he can't find any meaning or purpose in the world. Travis tries to find comfort in an adult theater and awkward social situations, but it doesn't help. He feels really empty inside and sees the harsh reality of modern life. He wants to find a purpose but doesn't want to feel sorry for himself. This is like the first stage of loneliness, where you feel lost and disconnected from society. The movie also explores the idea of existentialism, which is about feeling alone in the world. Travis's loneliness is similar to what philosophers like Sartre and Camus talk about. They said that people are alone because they have their own private thoughts and feelings. In a world that makes us feel disconnected, Travis is a perfect example of existential loneliness. Existentialism also says that we have the freedom to choose our purpose in life, but that can be really hard. Travis's struggle reflects the idea that our existence comes before our purpose, and this is a big theme in the movie. Taxi Driver uses loneliness to show a society that's falling apart and a main character who is lost in the chaos of modern life. The movie reminds us that we all struggle with feeling alone and finding meaning in a disconnected world. Travis, the main character, is trying to find meaning in a world that feels disconnected and lonely. Our thoughts and feelings are private, and this makes it our responsibility to find our own purpose. However, Travis has a hard time connecting with others and has lost his sense of purpose from his time in the Vietnam War. This feeling of emptiness is something many people can relate to in today's world, where finding a purpose can be a real challenge. Travis really wants something to make his life feel important and to bridge the gap between him and other people. But he keeps facing obstacles in his tough and depressing surroundings. In the next part of the movie, we see Travis become infatuated with a woman named Betsy, who works for a politician. She wears white, which symbolizes purity, and seems like a ray of hope in Travis's gloomy life. Their first meeting looks like love at first sight to Travis, as he sees her as a way out of his bleak life. However, Betsy only notices Travis when he catches her eye, and their first interaction isn't very promising. Travis hangs out with other taxi drivers, and their relationship seems shallow. Travis doesn't say much and can't stop thinking about Betsy. Even when a friend offers him a gun for protection, Travis is more interested in Betsy. He decides to volunteer at her workplace just to be around her. He becomes more confident and open, realizing that having meaningful connections is important in modern New York City. This leads to their first real conversation and plans for a date at a coffee shop. Travis thinks he might have found a way to cure his loneliness in someone who understands what he's going through. On their first date, he empathizes with Betsy's struggles and feels a connection with her, even if it's on a deep, subconscious level. But Travis puts Betsy on a pedestal and hopes she can fill the emptiness he feels and make his life less gloomy. Travis's obsession with Betsy shows us a warning about what can happen when people try to find salvation through idealized romance. His journey in the movie explores how desperate people can become when they're searching for meaning in a world that can be very lonely. Today, many men experience lives marked by despair and a lack of direction, just like Travis. This goes beyond insults and shows how masculinity is treated in today's world. In the past, men found purpose in taking care of their families and communities in close-knit environments. They felt fulfilled by these connections and had a strong sense of purpose in their lives. The idea of suicide was foreign to them. But today, many men grow up in broken families and feel lonely in big cities where they can't make real connections. Societal norms can make it hard for them to be themselves, and this isolation can lead them to try to make false connections, often projecting their hopes onto women, which can create problems. Travis, the main character, tries to find meaning in his life by pursuing Betsy and desperately trying to connect with her through shared interests. But their first date goes horribly wrong at an adult theater, and she leaves abruptly. Travis doesn't give up and keeps trying to reach out to her, leaving her messages and sending her flowers. But he can't understand why she rejected him. As his anxiety grows, Travis loses his sense of purpose when he encounters a disturbed man planning a gruesome crime. It shows how detached he has become from the world and how his mental state is deteriorating. In the next part of the story, Travis doesn't dwell on the awkward encounter with Betsy. This highlights how such disturbing incidents are unfortunately common in New York City. Instead, he starts to lose his grip on reality and numbs his feelings with fast food and alcohol. He becomes more resentful and self-pitying, which he expresses in his diary as he thinks about rejection and his place in the world. As time passes, Travis's anger builds up and he decides to make a major change in his life, marking a turning point in the story. Travis goes through a disturbing transformation. It all starts when he buys a powerful gun, similar to what a disturbed man had talked about earlier. But what's really alarming is that he doesn't just buy one gun, he buys 4. This marks the beginning of his troubling transformation. He decides to reinvent himself, starting with a strict exercise routine involving push-ups and lifting weights. He gives up junk food and pills and resolves to face his emotions instead of numbing them. He even tests how much pain he can take by holding his fist over an open flame. When he's not working on his body and mind, he spends a lot of time at the shooting range, practicing his shooting skills. It's clear he's preparing for something, even if his intentions aren't entirely clear. But before we dive into what Travis is planning, we need to understand why he's going through this transformation. Travis's resentment didn't start with Betsy's rejection. He resents the world, the people in it, and how he's treated as less than human every day. He feels more and more isolated, even though he fought for his country. He clings to his military past because it's the only thing that gives him a sense of purpose. Betsy's rejection makes his despair even worse, shattering his illusions of having a purpose. His strict routine gives him structure and helps him deal with his insomnia and dark thoughts. Through this routine, he finally finds some fulfillment, overcoming his deep sense of loneliness. This aligns with the idea from Jean-Paul Sartre's that people have to create their own purpose, and Travis has done just that by giving his life meaning. However, the nature of his newfound purpose is crucial. If Travis had chosen a path that positively contributed to society and helped him connect with others, his transformation might have been a good thing. Unfortunately, Travis's new purpose takes a dark turn, reflecting his pent-up anger. This shift in focus becomes a crucial step in his descent into mental turmoil. Travis's negative experience not only fuel his resentment, but also make it hard for him to find a healthy purpose. The negativity in his life pushes him to find meaning in tearing down what he believes is causing his suffering. This grim realization serves as a warning about societies that fail to provide men with a sense of purpose, leaving them adrift in a sea of anger. Travis's new purpose is to assassinate Senator Palatine, whom he associates with Betsy. He watches a rally and confronts a Secret Service agent. The scene with the mirror reflects his loneliness and madness. Travis meets a pimp named Sport and becomes interested in a girl named Iris, whom he pays Sport to keep an eye on. Travis becomes fixated on Iris and sees himself as her savior, trying to escape his loneliness. The film shows us the dangers of isolation and the search for purpose in society, underscoring the need for constructive outlets to prevent destructive consequences. Travis tries to help Iris, but she initially refuses. Despite their mutual attraction, they plan to meet again. In their next encounter, Travis advises Iris to return home, but she resists. This frustrates Travis and redirects his anger towards Sport, a pimp. Travis prepares for his mission, adopting a symbolic military look, reminiscent of Vietnam War soldiers on suicide missions. He intends to kill Sport and politician Palatine with no intention of escaping. As Palatine approaches, Travis hides a gun under his jacket. A Secret Service agent recognizes him and calls for help. Travis flees, abandoning his original plan to save Iris. His focus shifts to rescuing her and fighting the city's degeneracy. Armed and determined, Travis kills Sport and enters the apartments, sparking a chaotic, bloody brawl. Travis emerges victorious but severely wounded. When the police arrive, he sits on a blood-stained couch while Iris trembles in a corner. Surprisingly, Travis survives and becomes a hero, seen as a modern cowboy who battled gangsters. Iris's parents thank him for her safety. Travis seems to have found meaning, dispelling his emptiness. However, as he drives away at the film's end, a mirror reveals his lingering anger and resentment, highlighting the movie's underlying bleakness, a cycle of loneliness. Taxi Driver portrays a cycle that many ostracized men experience today, lacking purpose, drifting into anger, and sometimes embracing extreme ideologies or violence. The film emphasizes that true fulfillment comes from personal growth and meaningful connections. In a society lacking human bonds and shared purpose, every endeavor feels hollow. Escaping the cycle is tough, especially if you've faced rejection and solitude. Yet finding lasting purpose is the only way out of this relentless cycle of loneliness. Travis Bickle's journey through loneliness and alienation has left an indelible mark on cinema. What films do you think captured these themes as powerfully? And how has Travis's character resonated with you personally? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more cinematic analysis. Thanks for watching.